Hello YouTube, it's me again, and this is a private message to pro-black HOTEP SIMPS, and I use those terms with all due respect. What I want to talk to you about is why I believe you react to the red pill messages that are being delivered on YouTube on a daily basis. Your reaction generally is defensive of the black woman. Sometimes you take an aggressive posture against the man making the video, and you certainly have not shown any respect to the ideologies that are being articulated. But I want to bring to your attention why I believe you behave in this manner. The obvious reasons are you were raised by a single female, and you've been programmed by her to defend her and to excuse any of her shortcomings because of your familiar relationship. You want to see her in the best light. She probably, and this is not universal, but she probably created levels of alienation between you and your father. If she knew who your father was and they didn't have a good relationship, I'm confident that she sabotaged that relationship, that she restricted his access to you, turned the relationship into one that was all about money. And I have to tell you that that's a very destructive thing to do in a parental relationship. Once you embrace it, that's his only role, and she is constantly reinforcing that, you will no longer see your father as your father or someone that's relevant other than providing you with resources. So that's one. The other is the ideology of the HOTEP, believing that the black woman is God, which I'm an Israelite, that's blasphemous. The black woman is a woman, and based on our theology, she is derived from man. And she was designed to serve man, not man to serve her. So I believe you're embracing bad ideology. And I say that not just because I don't like the message, but I say it because the DNA evidence doesn't support that. DNA has been taken from the tombs of the Hebrew slaves in Egypt from various pyramids, and it's been matched against the DNA of African Americans, and it's the same. It's E1B1A. The ancient Egyptians had E1B1B DNA. So we're similar. We look very similar to one another, but we're not. And thus, black Americans who believe that they're descendants of Egyptians are confused. Yeah, there's reasons to be proud of the achievements of the Egyptians. They share our skin color. We even intermingled with one another for extensive periods of time. But if you're going to embrace a heritage, that's not your heritage. Maybe for a handful of you, but not for the vast majority of you. It's been proven that 85 to 90% belong to the E1B1A haplotype group. What I would say to the third group, which I will call the players and the pussy beggars, and I hope I don't offend you by using that term, but you kowtow to the black woman, hoping to ingratiate yourself with her so that you have access to her sex. And what I have to tell you is that as a man, it's very difficult for me to respect you, because as a man, you are the dominant creature. It is your power that attracts women. By giving her power, all you are doing is deflecting away from her. You are not doing anything except satisfying her ego and helping to foster false beliefs that she holds to be true. And then there's another category, the fourth. This is the last category. I'm going to call that person the romantic. And I don't mean they're romantic in that they write poems and they send chocolates and flowers to women, but they romanticize about black women in general. They believe that we need the black woman in order to break these bonds of slavery, and that without her, we will never achieve freedom from our captivity. These men believe that the black woman is not strong enough to absorb the criticism that is being directed towards her, and thus takes a hostile posture against men who are making the criticisms. But I must tell you that your actions are actually having the opposite effect. It's emboldening her. It's keeping her from taking in any criticism. And you are creating the disunity that you fear is being stirred by these red pill brother videos. But you're wrong. It is you creating hostility amongst black men because you're not willing to allow them to share their opinions, their observations, their experiences. These men are not here making this stuff up. They're all drawing from their own personal experiences, their observations of what has occurred between their friends and their significant others, and the harm that was created. And they are simply acting as not only watchmen, but as vanguards to keep other men from falling into this trap. We want our people, our brothers, to be educated enough to be able to see a situation and what the likely outcomes are before they actually experience it. Or if they find themselves in that situation, to provide them with some options so that they can free themselves of that situation and find something that's going to be healthier for their own development. That's what we seek. We're not seeking to tear down black women. We're simply trying to make sure that black men understand black women. I would tell you that from the 1960s until very recent, most men fell into your category. They were romantics. But over time, as black women exercised their sexual freedom and decided to have children out of wedlock, they moved through that progression. They went from the so-called SIMP, they moved to the other categories that I've mentioned over time. But we're now at a point where I would tell you in 10 years, most black men are going to be red pill brothers. They are going to be brothers who understand who the black woman is, how she has functioned in the society, and you are going to have to catch up to us. Fighting us is not going to work. It's only hardening our positions. And it's creating hostility that's not very good. It's hostility you're going to find that does not favor you numerically, particularly 10 years from now. I, in my daily life, whether it's my phone repairman or a clerk at a store or a brother I happen to be sitting next to on the bus or the subway, we talk and we all see things pretty much the same. It's becoming a universal belief among black men that black women are operating for the benefit of white supremacy. So in my message, I'm asking you to have an objective mind when you watch videos on YouTube. Try to understand that there's no motivation for brothers to vilify black women. All they're trying to do is help you gain an understanding. Keep in mind that in the 1980s, the 1990s, and the early part of the 2000s, it was black women on television talking very harshly about black men, slandering our reputations and making black men look very weak and pathetic to the rest of society. There was no benefit for them doing that if they cared even an iota for the black race as a whole. By vilifying one half of the race, all they could do was weaken us. And who were the beneficiaries of that? White supremacy. So please try to view things in a more holistic perspective. And with that, I'm signing off. Thank you.